Don't think of your position as I am booking a loss. Think of it as I'm moving my money from a position that is now not viable or not attractive to something else which is more attractive at this point of time.
Okay.
Emotionally, it works wonders. So you are not booking a loss, but you are switching to a more attractive investments. So rather than booking from 100 to a 90, booking a loss of 10, you are saying that this 90 I'm putting to better use, which will give me better upside somewhere else. These small things actually help in handling hope better in the investment process.
Hi Nimesh. We often hear that prepare for the worst and hope for the best. Hope is a very important emotion in one's life that keeps us positive. In fact, हिंदी में कहावत है, उम्मीद पे दुनिया कायम है. We start our every day with the hope that it's a good day, it's a better day, it's a best day. Yet I heard you once saying that hope can be very dangerous when it comes to investing. Can you explain that?
Sure. There's an interesting question. Let me start with a small story on that. So this is a story from Greek mythology. And like mythology stories, there can be different versions of it. I'm talking about the most popular version of this one.
Right.
So in Greek mythology, Zeus is the god of gods and he's the kind of king of all gods. He used to keep fire with him. And Prometheus, one of the deities, he stole fire from Zeus and gave it to mankind for their betterment. But Zeus was very upset with this. So he wanted to kind of avenge this with Prometheus and the mankind. So he thought, I'll teach them a lesson. He created this beautiful wise woman named Pandora. And all the gods gave their best gifts to this woman. Pandora literally means all gifts.
Okay.
So, and he takes this woman to Prometheus' brother, Epimetheus, and tells him to marry her. Prometheus had warned Epimetheus that don't accept anything from Zeus,
Right.
but he was so charmed by Pandora that he agreed to marry her. As a wedding gift, Zeus gave a box to Pandora. This is famous as Pandora's box, but it was literally a jar actually.
Okay.
And told her, never open this. Just keep it with you, never open this. For some time, Pandora could resist the curiosity, but then curiosity got the better of her and she decided to open it. When she opened it, all evils actually came out and went into people's homes. So disease, hunger, suffering, hatred, war, everything came out. The moment she saw these evils coming out, she tried to shut it back.
Okay.
But everything except hope, came out. And now here's where the narrative splits. How come there is hope in a box of evils? And some versions say that Zeus was kind and he wanted to give some hope to people so that they can endure this misery.
Right.
However, there's also another version that says hope itself is an evil because it prolongs your suffering. So when it comes to markets, hope is definitely an evil.
Okay.
See, when you are selecting a security or a stock or a company to invest in, you buy the company at the right valuation and you patiently wait for realizing that value. So that is all fine. But if hope becomes a part of this process, then you're doing something wrong. And that's where, Richard Russell and some of these writers have said that if you are investing based on hope, you're definitely on the wrong path.
Right. Very interesting. But isn't the opposite also true? You need some optimism or at least work with some expectations when it comes to investing?
So here, there's a good point. We'll separate hope from expectations, desires, and optimism. And here we're talking about something very different. Hope is anticipation of being positively surprised. Now, I know it's an irony in terms of the statement itself. There are a lot of antitheses in them. Hope is different from expectation. See, when you have your favorite cricket team playing, and with your experience and the score on the board, you may expect that the team will lose, but you still hope that they will win. Something positive will happen. Hope is also different from desires. Desires are more about fantasy, where hope is still within the realms of possibilities. And optimism, here also there is a very thin line of difference. Optimism is more in general, whereas hope is very specific. So you may be optimistic, and it's required that you're optimistic about your success in investing.
Right.
But when you're hoping about a specific security doing well despite the odds against it,
Yeah.
that's different. So hope is kind of different from these three.
What can be the ways in which hope impacts our investment decision making?
There are 2-3 different impacts that hope can have on our portfolio. The first effect is called the disposition effect. Suppose we invest in a particular stock or a company or a security,
Right.
and immediately we get some negative news, and that position is in loss or it's lower than the price we bought. Typically, people don't book these losses. People hate to book losses, and they continue collecting these loss-making companies or positions in their portfolio.
Right.
If the same stock or security was in profit and you got some negative news, you would have immediately cut it.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to take profits and difficult to take losses. We sit with the hope that some event will happen and bring us back into positive.
Right.
So that's one effect of that.
Right.
The second effect is this attraction of breaking even. So this is called get-evenitis, what Richard Thaler once mentioned. If you have a position, if you bought at 100 and it goes to 90 or so, people wait, even if they decide that, okay, this is not the right position for me, they wait for it to go back to 100 before actually booking out. They don't like to cut it at a lower price than what they have paid.
Right.
And many times they get anchored to 52-week highs and all that also.
Right.
So now that leads to, again, loss-making positions. You're sitting on hope with a loss-making position in your portfolio. An overall market impact of hope can be what is called a post-earnings announcement drift. If a company suddenly announces a cut in guidance or cut in profits, the stocks obviously fall. People don't immediately sell all their positions, even if they know that they are wrong. Whenever there is a bounce, there is selling that comes in, and so the stock price drifts in the direction of the type of announcement that has come. So if it's a negative announcement, there is a post-earnings negative drift that comes in. So these are some of the impacts of having hope in your investment decisions.
Hope is such a strong emotion. Can investors put any tools or ideas in the investment process that can help them to avoid these traps?
There is a concept called rose in the vineyard. If you visit any vineyards, you will find that before the grapevines start, there are some rose plants there. They add to the beauty of the vineyard, obviously.
Right.
But they are kept there for a very specific purpose.
Right.
The infections that can affect a grapevine affect the rose plant also. But they become more apparent in the rose plant first. So if something goes wrong on the rose plant, the farmer knows that he or she has to save the crop. Your automatic stop loss triggers or automatic trades act as your rose in the vineyard. If something goes wrong, like a negative announcement that comes in your investments, you hit a stop loss. So that acts as a rose. So something goes wrong and you cut your positions. That actually stops you from having that disposition effect where you are easily booking profits but not booking losses.
Right.
The second emotion, like what we said as get-evenitis or this attraction to wait for the break-even, that can be handled by what is called a switch.
Okay.
Don't think of your position as I am booking a loss. Think of it as I'm moving my money from a position that is now not viable or not attractive to something else which is more attractive at this point of time.
Okay.
Emotionally, it works wonders. So you are not booking a loss, but you are switching to a more attractive investments. So rather than booking from 100 to a 90, booking a loss of 10, you are saying that this 90 I am putting to better use, which will give me better upside somewhere else. These small things actually help in handling hope better in the investment process.
Thank you, Nimesh. I think that was again a very interesting perspective. Thank you.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risk. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.